As self-published authors, we really have to think outside the box. We don't have a traditional publisher to help us promote our books. It's all on us. So we really have to think outside the box and be creative on how we get out there and market and promote our book. Last year was the first year of my book, and it is a Black history book based on my husband's grandfather. So it's historical, nonfiction, but it's a picture book. And the age range is about 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade. And so I had a teacher reach out to me about doing a book talk with her students. She wanted to meet for breakfast, and then as they were eating, once they were almost finished, I could go up and I could read the book and we could discuss it and everything. And it turned out to be a great, great event. So she called me back this year. And so we met at another local restaurant and I did my book talk. We had lunch and then we walked over to a historical site. As a self-published author, you really kind of have to think outside the box and get out of your comfort zone. All of these things made me get out of my comfort zone, but it was a really, really good experience. Students were there, parents were there, and of course the teacher was there. And it gives you the opportunity to, through others, get your book out there because they're going to purchase a book and they're going to tell their friends. And so me getting out of my comfort zone was a positive because I think that the word will get out there about my book and more people will want to purchase it. So you really have to, like I said, think outside the box, get out of your comfort zone. And when people reach out to you, be open to doing some different things to get out there and market your book. If no one reaches out to you, maybe you might want to reach out to them and get your book and say, hey, I have this book, and tell them about it. And you never know what will happen. So make sure you stay open to that because we don't have anyone to help us market our book like a big traditional publisher. We are our team of one. And so it really helps us when we can get out there and promote our book and possibly sell some copies, which I did yesterday. So I was pretty excited about that. I have another book event coming up on Wednesday of this week. It's at a local library, and every year they have like an event where they bring in local authors and people from the community can come in and talk to each author and purchase their books if they want to. It is such a great event. And so what I'm doing today is I am preparing for that. And so I usually put my books in this plastic container because it makes it easier for me and my husband to carry the books. And I also have a wagon that we can put all of our books in. But I try and keep plenty of books on hand so then when an event comes up, I'm ready. And I've created more merchandise that I'm excited to have this year, at this local book event that people will probably want. And so it is just such a great life over 60 when I can, get out in the community and talk about my book. I'm just so excited. This book display is going to be a new addition to my book events this year, especially when I go to festivals and things like that. I purchased this last year, but I didn't have it for the library event that I'm going to this week. So it's going to be great to be able to display my books. And let me tell you another thing. last year, I did not take all of the books that I've created, but this year I will definitely take all of my books because people were, interested when all of the other the authors, they had all of these different books, and I was thinking, why didn't I bring my books? And so I purchased this book display shelf from Amazon. And so I will link it in the description because look how nice it is for me to be able to display my books in a professional style. I just love it. And so I'll get it situated. And I have some more books, but I just wanted to show this to you. This was it was very inexpensive. And it just makes my books look so professional. So I'm really excited about this. So if you are going to a book event and you have a large selection of books, make sure you have a place to display them so your customers can see them very easily. So let's talk about some of the extra merchandise that you might want to have on your table. So the first thing is you want to have some free little giveaways. I created these bookmarks and also these stickers with Vistaprint. And so these are just some little free giveaways that I can just give out to the kids as future voters, or bookmarks when they buy a book, or if they just want a bookmark. So these didn't cost that much, so I like to give these away. But for people who actually purchase a book, sometimes I like to give out a pen and just this little packet of things. I need to replenish them, and so I have to do that before my book festival in April at the local university. But I like to have these to give them just a little something extra when they buy a book from me. And so here I've talked about these, but I have these jumbo bookmarks that I created from my illustrations with a little bit of a blurb on the back about what's going on in this illustration. And I also created a postcard that people can purchase, and these are just $1. I'm really probably not making a whole lot of extra money on them, but it helps me promote my book. And I learned this when I went to a book festival in New Orleans, and the book vendors had so many different types of merchandise, and so that they had created. And so I decided that I needed to up my game, and so that's what I'm trying to do. And this is one of my illustrations, and it's right here. It's so cute. And so I'm really, really excited to have the extra merchandise this year for my book event. So the next thing I'd like to talk about is the technology that you need when you go to book talks and book festivals and things like that. So the first thing is this little amplifier that I use when I do book talks and I'm talking to a large group. This just allows me to amplify my voice, and I don't have to strain, and everyone in the room can hear me. And it has a volume where you can set your volume. And so it just really makes it very convenient for me, especially if I have a number of book talks and I don't have to strain my voice. And this has been very, very helpful. And I actually used it on my book talk yesterday, and everyone in the large room could hear me. Now, I also like to have a square for taking credit cards and debit cards and things like that. And to go with that is I need extra internet power, because sometimes there's not enough internet strength in the room for you to get the internet coverage that you need. So we bought this Straight Talk internet booster, and so it helps us when we are at book events and we have to take credit cards and things like that. Another thing I like to have is paper bags. You need paper bags. It just really makes your book booth more professional when you have a selection of paper bags. And I got these from Amazon. They were very inexpensive and they're very durable. And so I can put a couple of books in these bags. And you know, if someone buys a couple of books, and it's not like they're going to tear or anything. I've had a wonderful experience with these. And the next thing is a sign-in sheet. So you can collect emails for your email list and your newsletter if you have a newsletter. And this way you can get people who are really, really interested in what you're doing to sign up for your newsletter and your email list so they can get future updates about what you're doing. The last thing on my list is a way to display your prices. I like these little plastic things that stand up, and so you can display your prices. And also if you have a QR code or maybe just a few books, you can display your prices and your customers can see them. And especially if you're talking to someone else, they can just look at your price list and find out what the cost of the book is. Also, if you accept Cash App or Venmo, and then you can put your address on there, so it makes it easier for them to just put it in their phone. And even I've seen people have their Cash App and Venmo QR codes where the people can just take their phone and just take a picture of it, takes them right to Cash App. And so that's also a great solution, and it makes it easier for you to do transactions, especially if it's during a busy time. Hey friend, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel if you like this kind of information. It is my mission to encourage people over 50 and over 60 to live their creative lives, and that's what I'm doing. You can find more about me in the description. My books are there, my website is there. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on social media, Shelley's Creative Author Life. I would love to have you there, and I would love to have you on this journey over 60 with my creative life. Take care, friend. Bye.